Welcome to the 2019 MacDowell Colony National Benefit.
Welcome, 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 so many welcomes. My name is Susan Blackwell, and in addition to being a writer, a Broadway film and television actor, and a MacDowell Fellow, I am your host for this evening. Yes, rock on, party people. Yes. We have a lot to talk about. I know that a lot has happened in my life since last year when I hosted, and I know that a lot must have happened in y'all's life. So here's the plan. We're just gonna lock the doors, and we're just gonna unpack it for like the next 5 hours. JK, it's a school night. Let's get this party started. So to kick things off, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce a singer, a songwriter, a 10-time Grammy Award nominee, performing a song inspired by the work of MacDowell Fellow James Baldwin, accompanied by guitarist Chris Bruce and vocalist Justin Hicks. Oh, you're in for a treat. Please welcome Michelle Indegiacello.
Thank you so much for having us here. We're very grateful. I've made Justin, Chris, and I participate in a multimedia piece that's based on the work of James Baldwin, where we use him as the prophet or the deity of the church. And so the part of the program we're going to do is two little selections that are to make a light on some of the sadness that goes on. So forgive me if it interrupts your dinner. Here we go. Ahead of time. I'm just walking, trying to get home. I ain't do nothing, just leave me alone. Lord, give me wings to fly before they shoot me down and I die. Don't let them shoot me down and I die. Put down your gun and take your hands off me. Whoa, 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 whoa. Put down your guns and take your hands off me. Officer, officer, officer. I know you're afraid like me, but look at my hands, please don't shoot me. Oh, 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 oh. Put down your guns and take your hands off me. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Put down your guns and take your hands off me. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do to be so what would you do if we became you? I can lie to
and be so. So would you push through? Let me see you. Well, I can cry too. And be so. And be so. Mad and true. Fashioned blue. Sad and new. I'd be so. I ran and stood as is. As good. To lean too long, too mean, too strong. So what would you do if we became you? You can die too and be so. What would you do if we became you? You can die too and be so.
Please thank Justin Hicks. Please thank Chris Bruce. Thank you for having us. Enjoy your night.
Chris, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Michelle. Woo! It is truly an honor to be here to welcome you to this night. I welcome my fellow fellows. I welcome old friends of the MacDowell. It's such a happy-making thing to see your faces again. And I welcome new friends. I understand that we have 5 new board members in the house. Welcome to you, new board members. And welcome your fancy guesties. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. I also want to welcome all the servers and the staff. I have a suspicion. Yes. Yeah. Hi, friends. I have a suspicion, and maybe it's because I worked in an office for 20 years, and I would have to make and create evenings and weekends. So I have a suspicion there may be many exquisite artists serving us tonight, and maybe a few brilliant future fellow MacDowell Fellows. So whether you are the server or the served, the entertainer or the entertained, the patron or the beneficiary of that patronage, tonight, if you can hear my motherfucking voice, we are all part of the MacDowell community. Word to all of your mothers. It occurs to me, though, that you may have been dragged here and you may not know what MacDowell is, and you keep hearing me say MacDowell, 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 but I might as well be saying meow, 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 meow. So let me hip you to this scene. The MacDowell colony is located in beautiful sylvan Peterborough, New Hampshire, and it is an epicenter for contemporary art and thought, where artists create in the most supported environment possible. It's a place where some of the greatest artists on the planet make some of the greatest contemporary work across all genres. In addition to myself and James Baldwin, MacDowell Fellows include, let me have it. MacDowell Fellows include Willa Cather, Thornton Wilder, Milton Avery, Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, Alice Walker, Wendy Wasserstein, Spalding Gray, Benny Andrews, and those names may sound like canon now, but when those sons of guns were at the MacDowell, they were making of the moment contemporary work, and that making continues to this day. Tonight, we are celebrating work made at MacDowell. For instance, yes, tiny claps. I'll take all the tiny claps I can get. I'm kind of a whore for tiny claps. For instance, the invitation artwork for tonight's gala features a painting by Lillian Garcia Roig. Hi, Lillian. Lillian's painting was not only created while she was in residency at the MacDowell, but as you can see, it was also inspired by the area's natural beauty. And speaking of natural beauty, you all look so sparkly and so pretty and so well rested tonight. Can we bring the house lights up? Wow. Have you all been working out with a new trainer? Yeah, because you look amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to get you to give money to the MacDowell. Or maybe I am. I probably am. It's hard to say. But here's why. If we value culture and we want contemporary art and thought to continue evolving, then we need to support contemporary artists and thought leaders. But sincerely, tonight is not just about me trying to talk you into handing me your American Express. I also take checks, I take cash, I take Diners Club. No, my friends, it's not just that. I'll tell you what else is on the docket. We're going to have a good time. We're going to sample a diverse array of artistry made at MacDowell. And we're also going to get to know some MacDowell artists, the fellows, as we are referred to. In fact, I would like to play a game with you that we played last year. You have to trust me. It's a fun fucking game, if I do say so myself. And we're going to start by just taking a quick, painless moment for everyone to shut your eyes. Shut your eyes. Shut them. Not the servers. You keep your eyes open, you beautiful artists. But if you're seated, shut your eyes. If you're a MacDowell Fellow, I want you to take a moment, take a breath. Think about something you created at MacDowell that you're super proud of, or a breakthrough moment you experienced at MacDowell, or a connection that you made there. Keep your eyes shut. You are doing great, you all. If you're not a fellow, as always, please just use this time with your eyes closed to calculate how much disposable income you have handy to donate to MacDowell later in the evening. And while you run those numbers, just consider those sweet, sweet tax incentives and those delicious deductions. Now, everyone, open your eyes. Every single MacDowell Fellow who can hear my voice, will you please stand up? Stand up. There's 75 of you here. Word. We want to know who you are. Behold the splendor. Yes. Another way you may be able to spot a MacDowell Fellow is you're going to notice we all have these little yellow buttons on. You may sit down. Beautiful. So here's how you play my game. It's called My Fellow Fellow. You win the game if you find a MacDowell Fellow and learn about their experience at the MacDowell Colony. We want you to know up close and personal, firsthand, what and who you are supporting when you donate generously to the MacDowell. It's kind of like Pokemon Go, but instead of trying to find Charizard, you're just trying to engage with the MacDowell Fellow. My fellow fellows, throughout this evening, when you have a moment, please share with your table mates what MacDowell means to you in the most tangible, vital, visceral terms possible. Let your dinner companions know what you've made at MacDowell and how MacDowell supported you. And my dear philanthropists, please do take it in, because MacDowell can only provide that support to artists if you provide to MacDowell. Any questions? Yes? That's a wonderful question, madam. She asked, what are the social media hashtags for the evening? It's a great question. If you're up on the Instagram, be sure to include these little babies. It's hashtag MacDowell. There she is. She's on trend. Hashtag MacDowell benefit at MacDowell Colony. But enough of my yakking. Let's rock on. Let's get a bigger, more delicious taste of MacDowell. We're going to kick it off with a face that's familiar to the MacDowell Colony. Pulitzer Prize-winning author, chairman of the MacDowell Board, and my fellow, Michael Chabon, and with him, from a top-secret lair in Los Angeles, where they're working together on a top-secret project, tonight's honorary chairman, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Hello, it's me, Michael Chabon. How are you? I'm sorry that I can't be there this evening to join you. I feel very bad about missing the annual MacDowell National Benefit, but I assure you I have a very good reason for doing so. Our theme this evening, as you know, is Made at MacDowell, and I just wanted to say a little bit about the kinds of things that are made at MacDowell. Of course, the first thing that comes to all of our minds would be works of art, and in my case, I've written parts of at least 5 of my novels while at the MacDowell Colony. Books are made at MacDowell. Paintings are made at MacDowell. Sculptures, dance routines, sonatas, concerti. Buildings are designed at MacDowell. Of course, all of these kinds of works of art are created at the MacDowell Colony, but there's so much more that is made at MacDowell. Friendships are made at MacDowell. Creative partnerships, often cutting across disciplines, are made at MacDowell. Marriages have been made at MacDowell. And ultimately, what gets made at the MacDowell Colony is connections, human connections, the kinds of connections between art and art consumer, between novelist and reader, between composer and audience, but the human connections between us as members of a common society and a common culture, the kind of connections that are going to save us all in the end. That's what's made at MacDowell, and that's what we're here this evening to celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, weird Patrick Stewart head. Now, permit me to introduce our next MacDowell Fellow, a critically acclaimed playwright whose works have been produced by prestigious theaters across the country. Her plays include Hannah and the Dread Gazebo, Here We Are Here, and the acclaimed Made at MacDowell work, Peerless, which will have its New York premiere at Primary Stages in 2020. Please welcome my fellow, Ji Hae Park.
Hi. I wrote Peerless during my very first day at MacDowell in the Mixter studio across from Colony Hall. A loose riff on Macbeth, the play explores the effects of the extreme pressures we are putting on our young people today and the way those pressures and perceptions of scarcity can cause minority groups to turn against each other instead of examining the broader power structures that prop up the system we live in. It's a comedy, a dark one. 1, mail. A heavy, stuffed to the brim, 10 by 13 envelope falls from the sky. Thud. 2, dirty girl. Dirty girl appears. She's a white girl with dreadlocks wearing a filthy trench coat. She hasn't showered in weeks. She's bent over talking to something in her pocket.
I said, shh. I said, yes, but not yet.
The sound of squeaking, small, rodent-like. Something scurries across the stage on tiny feet. 3, early decision. The school bell. The twins. Matching outfits except for their nylon backpacks. M red, L yellow. They watch someone walk by with bright, frozen smiles, then drop them.
Did you hear?
I can't.
You heard.
I can't.
I'm sorry.
Believe.
I know.
Did you see?
I know.
You did.
I did.
The smile.
I saw.
On his fat.
His
fugly fat.
Veiny.
His veiny fat face. His veiny fat.
Hands.
On his fat fucking envelope. Where's I?
Where's you?
Where's I? I got this.
She drops a crumpled, single piece of paper on the ground.
We regret to inform
you that
your spot in the class of 2024 has been taken.
Occupied.
Seized.
Usurped.
Usurped by a no good, no talent, no brain fat fuck. How?
How? Well,
How did this?
They watch someone walk by.
Oh my God, his brother.
His brother?
His brother. Reason.
The reason?
Of course.
You think?
His retard
His
brother.
brother is-
Duh, of course.
Really?
Because of his.
do you think that's enough
How
to...
else?
Well,
I bet he wrote in his
essay.
His essay.
What did you?
Africa.
Summer?
My summer in Africa.
That's good.
It's bullshit. It's normal. It's boring. I mean, you
I
were
was there.
Whereas he
You
has
think?
a retard.
I don't.
Not my fault. You're not retarded.
I think
It's
maybe
not like he's
I think
retarded.
he's got like
I mean,
cystic
sure, if he were
fibrosis,
overcoming,
fibrosis.
personal retardation.
That would be.
Maybe.
That would
I
be.
mean, maybe.
Okay.
I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Double minority.
Well, I think they're actually
double minority.
They're like 30%.
Minority vagina.
And we both know that it's harder for us than for
Affirmative
It's
action.
not like you're black.
American dream.
Or like poor.
I know that. Why are you telling me things I know? I wish you were actually as retarded as you sound right now, because then I would be going to college.
You're going to go to
The college.
the college.
Please, and
The brick.
colonial.
Columns.
Low teacher to student.
The quad.
The field.
The history.
The future.
The future.
My future.
Our future. You and then
You.
You could still get
One.
You still
They take one every year. They take one.
They take one historically,
Early,
but yes.
Early decision.
Well, maybe this year they'll
Deferred.
You could still
I'm deferred.
You could still get in regular.
I was a shoo-in.
Sure thing.
My stats are
Impeccable.
4.8.
Weighted.
4.0 on 2,400.
Second try.
So
nothing.
Consistently first. He's not even top 10.
Close.
No, not even.
11.
There's no way his stats are.
Well, what about soft?
His softs? My softs are
Killer.
They're killer. No way his softs
No way
are.
his.
Retard or no?
I don't think he's
no
retarded.
contest. This fucks with everything. Me and then you.
Could still get in regular.
Fucks me and then you.
Could still get in
You
regular.
know the odds.
But
You've seen the data. The last 20 years, one. They take one.
still could get in regular. Or something could happen.
Like what?
Like that kid.
Like what kid?
In 2001, his mom got like cancer.
So?
he deferred.
He deferred?
He deferred from the college.
So what did they do?
They took someone else and he went the next year.
They took someone regular?
No, right away.
Can we give his mom cancer?
Can't give someone cancer.
Is cancer contagious?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know, but something less serious.
Jen's cat has cat AIDS.
Oh my God, AIDS!
Well,
Can people get cat AIDS?
Jen doesn't have it?
Oh yeah.
Wait, if he deferred, that would mean that next year
Shit, that's right, shit. But if I were in, you'd get sibling preference.
It's not that clear cut. If he defers, it's not me versus him. It's him a year late. It's him guaranteed.
Shit.
You and then.
You, that's what we planned for. Me and then
Me.
That's why we came here.
That's why I stayed back for
all of these years of me.
And then me.
Living in
Nowheresville.
All for the sake of
Geographical
diversity.
A shoo-in.
A promise.
A promise.
They promised.
A shoe-in.
A sure thing.
A hedging.
An edge.
Geographical diversity.
Why else would
You still could.
Stop.
Might get in regular.
Stop. I said stop.
Sorry. Sorry. He's Native American.
What? No.
Yes, I heard he's...
From who?
From whom?
Fuck you.
It's a preposition.
I know.
From is a...
I know.
Whom is the object
I know that.
of
You
the
don't think I know
preposition, so
from
you
is a
have to use the
preposition? I have a
object
4.8 weighted, 4.0 on. You have a 4.6 weighted, 3.9 on. You don't think I know that?
I heard?
Fuck you, you heard.
He's...
Look at him.
Technically,
Fuck.
his great-grandma.
His what?
Or his great-great.
No.
So technically,
Fuck.
I guess technically
Fuck,
speaking,
fuck.
he's...
Don't say it. Don't you fucking say that fucker is.
1/16th Native American.
The school bell. 4, detention. M and Dirty Girl at parallel desks. Dirty Girl throws little bits of paper at M.
Hail.
What?
Hail.
Stop.
Hail.
Will you stop with the...
Hail.
It's not hail, it's trash.
Hail. That was some scream. That was some scream you screamed. Didn't think your mousy mouth could let out a scream like
I
that.
thought you didn't talk. Isn't that your thing? Dirty and dumb.
I know about you. About you and your sister. I know about you. About you and your outfits. About you and your kind.
You're kind?
I know what you're like, and I hail
You racist
nerds.
bitch. Oh.
Chinky nerds.
Mr.
Hail.
Cole! Mr. Cole!
Hail.
Dirty girl won't stop
Hail.
going. Fine, Caroline won't stop
Hail.
going. And Caroline is slowly...
Sieg Heil.
And seriously, Nazi?
All hail.
Will you stop it already?
Dirty Girl produces a lighter from nowhere and lights her cigarette. She blows smoke in M's face.
Are you kidding me?
The school bell.
I know about you. You and your kind and your plans for the college. How you came here, invaded, you and then her, how she stayed back a year, dividing to conquer, plotting and planning, stealing the future.
You're talking like crazy. You're dirty and crazy.
But you didn't get in. Oh, you didn't get in.
Blow me.
But you will. And your little dog, too.
To be continued.
Thank you, Jihei. And performers Adina Verson, Tiffany Villerin, and Sasha Diamond. And now I would like to introduce you to an artist who has shown at museums across the country, including the National Museum of Women in the Arts. She won a Joan Mitchell Foundation Award in painting and was named a Sally and Milton Avery MacDowell Fellow. You also saw her work earlier featured on the invitation to this very event. Please welcome my fellow, Lillian Garcia Roig.
Hello. Well, first of all, I'm very humbled and excited to be featured as the visual artist for MacDowell Colony. I can't even begin to say what that really means to me, given all the wonderful artists that have come before me. I'm an on-site landscape painter, and so for me, place is particularly important as a subject and as a, oh, this is bad, I have my phone on. Bad. So place is an integral part of my subject as well as process. So going to MacDowell isn't just about having the time to work, although that's a big part. But for me, it's really about a place, a subject to use. And I've been fortunate enough to go twice during the fall, during the peak season. So you can imagine that that place is like no other. And having grown up in the South, the Northeast is amazing. I'm so jealous. So just thank you, and hopefully a little piece of what I made at MacDowell can find a happy home up here in the Northeast. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lillian. And now I would like to introduce you to another MacDowell Fellow, Rodney Evans, Rodney came to national attention as the writer, director, and producer of his first feature film, Brother to Brother, which won the Special Jury Prize in Drama at the Sundance Film Festival. Brother to Brother went on to garner 4 Independent Spirit Award nominations, including Best First Film and Best First Screenplay. His latest feature, Vision Portraits, had its world premiere at the 2019 South by Southwest Film Festival. Please join me in welcoming my fellow, Rodney Evans. It's all you, baby.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I am so excited and thrilled to be here. MacDowell has been such an amazing sanctuary for me as an artist since 2004. And, you know, firstly, I really would just like to salute Cheryl Young for 30 years of leadership at MacDowell and making it a world-class artist residency that it is. It is really difficult for me to fathom all of the hard work that goes into keeping MacDowell the artist residency par excellence that it is, but I just really want to take my hat off to Cheryl and all of the hard work that she has done for 3 decades in keeping MacDowell the jewel that it is. So thank you, Cheryl. I also want to thank Residency Director David Macy and the entire staff at MacDowell. For their unwavering support of the artists and residents. MacDowell has been an incredible oasis of safety, nurturing, and deep creative thinking at 2 pivotal points in my career as a filmmaker. The first was in 2004, after making my first fiction feature, Brother to Brother, which premiered at Sundance, as Susan said, to much critical acclaim, but failed to garner much in the way of commercial interest, in the way that you hear about backroom deals and multi-million-dollar sales coming out of Sundance. And MacDowell invited me to be in residence in March of 2004, and I decided that I would create from my own passion and my own heart outside of the consideration of the commercial fate of Brother to Brother. And at that residency, I figured out that I wanted to write about and research the experiences of the openly gay jazz musician Billy Strayhorn, a composer of such classic tunes as Lush Life and Take the A Train. And it would take 3 additional residencies at MacDowell before I really figured out the form that this story should take, and hopefully next year, if all of the stars align properly, this film will become a reality. Thank you. My last pivotal residency at MacDowell was in 2017, where I was finally grappling with a challenging subject matter that I had always been afraid of acknowledging in my art. And this is the fact that I was diagnosed with a rare genetic eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa in 1996, which left me with no peripheral vision and minimal night vision. I decided that I would chronicle the experiences of 3 blind/visually impaired artists, a photographer, a dancer, and a writer, to fully understand how they continue to create their artwork in spite of their visual impairments. Throughout my time in MacDowell, I wrote poetry that could work as a laser beam to my thoughts, centering on my own experience with visual impairment, and work them and my own personal experience into the film. I never thought of myself as a poet, so this was quite terrifying. And without MacDowell, I don't think I would have given myself the freedom to take these bold, creative risks and push cinematic boundaries to find the right form for this film. This is my latest feature-length documentary, Vision Portraits, edited in collaboration with another MacDowell Fellow, Hannah Buck. It's playing at 8 festivals in the next 6 weeks, including BAM Cinema Fest in June, and opening at the Metrograph on Friday, August 9th. Here is a short excerpt that hopefully can speak for itself. Here is Vision Portraits. I would say in the last 5 or 6 years, there has been further deterioration. I think just with every film, I sort of come to it with a new set of circumstances, and I have to sort of meet the project where my condition is and let people know where it is and what kind of help I need in certain areas. If I need a monitor right next to me that's of a certain size, if I need a clear path to the actors.
Shit, what happened?
Just asking for what you need, really, and not being ashamed or afraid.
Are there any witnesses? Okay.
The reason that I'm a filmmaker is because I want people to feel something.
Tell me.
And the way that I can maneuver that and manipulate that is through the actor's performance.
Hello, Mom? What's going on?
I tend to be very interested in the face as a landscape and how emotions shift on someone's face.
And he just kept screaming, "Not in my house."
Ironically, I think it is helpful to me to not have peripheral vision because that way I don't actually think so much about the entire apparatus that goes into production because I literally don't see it. So, you know, I think in that regard, my visual impairment actually has been helpful in getting to the heart of the actor's performance. I think that there's an added sense of urgency to making films now while I have the vision that I have. The general prognosis with people with RP is that in your 60s, the disease will generally start to progress, and you know, so that's not a lot of time.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you.
So, what's up next? We are going to fund a residency for the world's next great artist. Your hands are so cold, baby. You might want to take a moment to get to know the silent auction items because there's some good stuff up for grabs. But for now, please enjoy your dinner and go meet my fellow fellows. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Welcome back. When you're ready, make your way back to your little seaties. A standing ovation. I appreciate it, sir. I hope you had a wonderful dinner and that you got to know more about each other and the MacDowell and my fellow fellows. I want to say just a skosh more about funding MacDowell, and I promise This is not the last time I'll mention it. When you fund MacDowell, that contribution in turn funds the arts and artists, which in turn advances the culture. Fun fact, every dollar raised here tonight goes to artists. Here's another fun fact. In addition to my many accomplishments, I was a varsity cheerleader. And I know that seems like a non sequitur, but I swear I'm headed somewhere with this. Oh, good Lord in heaven. Here's how much I love the MacDowell. Tonight, at their special request, I'm revisiting my cheerleading roots, and I'm gonna make you a deal. I'm gonna make a full-on idiot of myself, and I'm gonna teach you some cheers if you help me out and you don't leave me hanging. Deal? Deal? Good. Okay, I hope that we're all just the right amount of drunk right now. Okay, to help me out from the New York cast of Blue Man Group, please welcome my own personal drumline, Stephen Went. Yes. All right, welcome, Stephen. Welcome to the MacDowell community. I'm gonna teach you, but before we get fast and rough, we're just gonna take it slow and easy, okay? Hey, before I get started, if there's any recovering cheerleaders or drum corps or color guard or drill teamers or pep squatters up in this bitch, it's time to step out into the light. When I say, ready, give me a good crisp, okay. Ready? Shit, that's promising. Okay, here we go. This is the first cheer. Let me do it one time at tempo, and then I'm gonna break it down for you, okay? This is what it sounds like at tempo. Oh, fuck you all. Okay, ready? Ready? Okay. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B-E-S-U-P-P-O-R-T-I-V-E. You got it? Do you think you can do it? Let's slow it down. I'm going to teach it to you, madam. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B-E-S-U-P-P-O-R-T-I-V-E. Got it? Now, clap and cheer. You can do it, Judith Light. Don't be scared. Judith Light says I'm going too fast. Let's slow it down for Judith Light. Ready? B, supportive, B-E, supportive. What? B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B-E-S-U-P-P-O-R-T-I-V-E. I heard it. I started to hear it. How you doing, Judith Light? You're so welcome. Judith has done a lot of meth tonight. Okay, we're gonna take it up to tempo. Let's do it slow. We're gonna do it 3 times. Slow, faster, fastest. Ready? Ready? Okay. Ready? Okay. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B-E-S-U-P-P-O-R-T-I-V-E. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. What? B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B-E-S-U-P-P-O-R-T-I-V-E. B, supportive, B-E, supportive. Yeah, B, supportive, B-E, supportive. B-E-S-U-P-P-O-R-T-I-V-E. Yes. Oh my God. I'm 50 fucking years old. It's all coming back to me. Here's our next cheer. This is a very simple call and response. My words are in black. Your words are in pink. And it sounds like this. I support MacDowell. MacDowell supports artists. Artists advance the culture. So I support MacDowell. I support MacDowell supports Artists advance the culture, so I support MacDowell. Last time, I support MacDowell. MacDowell supports artists. Artists advance the culture, so I support MacDowell. You sons of bitches. What a delightful surprise you all are. Don't want to fall out of my top. Here's the last cheer. Judith, don't get scared. It's a little more complicated, but it's more fun, right? So here it goes. I'm going to do it for you first. Did we all take our heart medication? Good. Again, my lines are in black. Your lines are in pink. Here we go. When I say all, you say right. All. All. When I say give, you say tonight. Give. Give. When I say boogie, you say down. Boogie. Boogie. I say you got, you say that right. You got the. All right, give tonight. Boogie down, you got that right. All right, give tonight. Boogie down, you got that right. Fuck. Yes. Do you all understand that? Do you understand the rhythms of that? Judith? Just, you know. Great. I want to do it one last time. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. You ready? Okay. When I say all, you say right. All. All. When I say give, you say tonight. Give. Give. When I say boogie, you say down. Boogie. Boogie. I say you got, you say that right. You got. You got. All right, give tonight. Boogie down. You got that right. All right, give tonight. Boogie down. You got that right. Yes. Stephen Wedge, everybody. Get the hell out of here. My parents would be so proud of me right now. I'm proud of you all. I wasn't sure how you'd respond to that. Well done. Now, let us hear from another MacDowell Fellow, a two-time Pulitzer finalist in fiction, and the author of Imagine Me Gone and You Are Not a Stranger Here, my fellow, Adam Hazlitt.
Good evening. That's an impossible act to follow, so I won't try. I'm very grateful to be here and for the chance actually to speak to you. I just came from the colony about 2 weeks ago. I was up there for March and April, and I've been going for a number of years. I've written some part of all of the books I've written there, but it wasn't really until this time that I clarified for myself just what it was that made me as grateful as I am for it. And I realized it had a lot to do with distraction and concentration. I think we're at the moment living at a time when concentration is becoming a kind of radical act. Our attention is competed for by the second ever more aggressively, and we all know what's happening to the physical environment, but there is also an environment of the mind that is in need of preservation and sustaining. It's related. The ability to have the time to think through and feel through and metabolize experience has to do with how we interact, not just with art, but with politics, with the physical environment, with everything. And so what MacDowell has been doing for many, many years, he's only doing it more now, because that need for that kind of space to concentrate is, I think, endangered. And so what Cheryl and David and the staff and the board and everybody in here who's giving money, I just want you to know that the gift that's being given and has been given so well for so long is not just the ability for us individually to make books and films and concerts and music. It is a gift of the spirit. It's a gift of the creation of a place of communion with ourselves and therefore the people that we eventually may be able to reach and one another. And it's, you know, everybody's tried. If you've been to this dinner before, you've heard a million different versions of, I can't quite say what it is. And I can't, but I can say it's a gift of the spirit, and I'm tremendously grateful to have had it so many times. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you. Our next MacDowell Fellow is a novelist whose debut novel, There, There, has been hailed as groundbreaking and extraordinary by the New York Times and brilliant and propulsive by People magazine. The story revolves around 12 characters, urban Indians living in Oakland, California, who converge and collide on one fateful day. Sharing from his novel, There, There, which was Made at MacDowell, please welcome my fellow, Tommy Orange.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I was at the MacDowell colony yesterday, and I just made the drive back last night with Joseph Keckler, who performed here to much brilliance and hilarity last year, I'm sure. And I was just there a week, which is sort of a bittersweet experience. But in 2014, I had published nothing, and there was very little reason to believe in bringing me on as a fellow. But it was really big for me at the time, just as an author, and then given the month that I had for the book, it was really big for the novel, There. So I'm so grateful to my time there, and MacDowell will always feel like a home to me. It was a really beautiful experience. I met a lot of people that I love, and the time just was invaluable. But tonight I'm going to perform a chapter from the novel that I was working on while there, which I feel like I got it off the ground for the first time while there. It's a chapter called Opal, Viola, Victoria, Bearshield, and we have the honor to hear one of the voiceover actresses from the audiobook, Kyla Garcia. Let's please give her a warm welcome to the stage.
Jackie's last name is Redfeather, and mine is Bearshield. Both our dads had left our mom. Why do we got names like we do? I asked our mom. They come from old Indian names. We had our own way of naming before white people came over and spread all those dad names around in order to keep the power with the dads. I didn't understand. And I didn't know if Bearshield meant shields that bears use to protect themselves, or shields people use to protect themselves against bears. Or were the shields themselves made out of bears? Either way, it was all pretty hard to explain in school. And that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was my first name, Opal Viola. That makes me Opal Viola Victoria Bearshield. Victoria was our mom's name, even though she went by Vicky. And Opal Viola came from our grandma, who we never met. Our mom told us she was a medicine woman and renowned spiritual singer of songs, so I was supposed to carry that big old name around with honor. The good thing was, the kids didn't have to do anything to my name to make fun of me. No rhymes or variations. They just said the whole thing and it was funny. One day, me and Jackie were doing our homework in the living room with the TV on when Mom came home with the news that we'd be moving to Alcatraz. Pack your things. We're going over there. Today, Mom said. And we knew what she meant. We'd been over there to celebrate not celebrating Thanksgiving. We got on a bus on a cold, gray morning in late January 1970. I packed 2 outfits and tucked my teddy bear, Two Shoes, under my arm. The name Two Shoes came from my sister, because her childhood teddy bear only had 1 shoe. Maybe I should have considered myself lucky to have a bear with 2 shoes. But then bears don't wear shoes. So maybe I wasn't lucky either, but something else. Mom, I said, what are we doing? We're going to be with our relatives, Indians of all tribes, going over to where they built that prison. Gonna start from the inside of the cell, which is where we are now, Indian people, even though they don't make it seem like they got us there. We're gonna work our way out from the inside with a spoon. Here, look at this. She handed me a laminated card from her purse. It was that picture you see everywhere, the sad Indian on a horse silhouette. And on the other side, it said, Crazy Horse's Prophecy. Upon suffering beyond suffering, the Red Nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for a sick world. A world filled with broken promises, selfishness, and separations. A world longing for light again. I see a time of 7 generations when all the colors of mankind will gather under the sacred tree of life, and the whole earth will become one circle again. A speedboat took us to the island. I kept my head in my mom's lap the whole time. The guys who brought us over were dressed in military uniforms. I didn't know what we were getting into. Jackie got on a lot better than me. She fell in with a group of teenagers that ran all over the island. I hung by my mom's side. We went around talking to people, attending official meetings where everyone tried to agree on what to do, what to ask for, what our demands would be. It felt like we were going to stay out there for good, get the feds to build us a school and medical facility, a cultural center. At some point, my mom told me to go out and see what Jackie was up to. I didn't want to go out there alone, but eventually I got bored enough and went to see what I could find. I took Two Shoes with me. I know I'm too old to have him. I'm almost 12, but I took him anyway. I found them by the shore closest to the Golden Gate. They were all over the rocks, pointing at each other and laughing in that wild, cruel way teenagers have about them. I told Two Shoes it probably wasn't such a good idea and that we should just go back.
Sister, you don't have to worry. All these people, even those young ones over there, they're all our relatives, so don't be scared. Plus, if anyone comes after you, I'll jump down and bite their ankles. They would never expect that. I'll use my sacred bear medicine on them. It'll put them to sleep. It'll be like instantaneous hibernation. That's what I'll do, sister. So don't worry. Creator made me strong to protect you.
Two Shoes, stop talking like an Indian.
I don't know what you mean by talking like an Indian.
You're not an Indian, T.S. You're a teddy bear.
You know, we're not so different. Both of us got our names from pig-brained men.
Pig-brained?
Men with pigs for brains.
Oh, meaning?
Columbus called you Indians. For us, it was Teddy Roosevelt's fault.
How?
He was hunting bear one time, but then found this real scraggly old hungry bear, and he refused to shoot it. Then in the newspapers, there was a comic that made it seem like Mr. Roosevelt was merciful, a real nature lover, that kind of thing. Then they made the little stuffed bear and named it Teddy's Bear. Teddy's Bear became Teddy Bear. What they didn't say was that he slit that old bear's throat. It's that kind of mercy they don't want you to know about.
And how do you know about any of this?
You gotta know about the history of your people, how you got to be here. Us bears, you Indians, we've been through a lot. They tried to kill us. But then when you hear them tell it, they make history seem like one big heroic adventure across an empty forest. There were bears and Indians all over the place. Sister, they slit all our throats.
Damn, T.S. That's messed up. I only heard about the one with the big stick.
That big stick is the lie about mercy. Speak softly and carry a big stick. That's what he said about foreign policy. That's what they used on us, bears and Indians both, foreigners on our own land. And with their big sticks, they marched us so far west, we almost disappeared.
Then Two Shoes went quiet. That's the way it was with him. He either had something to say or he didn't. I could tell by what kind of shine I saw in the black of his eyes which one it was. I put Two Shoes behind some rocks and headed down to my sister.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Kyla. All right. Before my next introduction, I wanted to get you all ready for what's coming up next. Part I've mentioned several times, the part where we raise money for MacDowell Artist Fellowships. In the center of your table, there should be an envelope. Will you please reach out, grab that envelope, and go ahead and open it up and release the kraken that is your paddle. Introduce yourself to your auction paddle. Should have your name on it. Make friends with it. Really bond with the paddle. And once you have it, yes, passing them out. Once you have it, if you have it already, I just want you to just raise it up into the air. Just raise it. Yes, I see one there. Very good. 183, you're doing very well. Yes, this side of the room is crushing it. Really doing well over here. I've got one over here. Raise that paddle up into the air. Just the full expression of your philanthropy. Yes, raise it up. Got it? I want to see them all. Ready? Raise them up. Like White Walkers. Raise them up. Great. And now restore. That's good practice for later. Now, won't you please welcome my favorite Cheryl, MacDowell's Executive Director, Cheryl Young. Hi. You look... It's all you.
Oh man, how can you, I mean, Susan, you're amazing. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to all the fellows for participating tonight. I have been so lucky to be part of MacDowell. When we were here last year, you honored me in a very grand way, and it continued throughout the year. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I feel very loved. So I don't know how I can ever repay that. But I just want you to know that I appreciate it. In my first year as executive director in 1997, the colony was recognized with the National Medal of Arts for nurturing this century's finest artists, and now we're in our second century. The MacDowells wanted to help people appreciate the value of the arts and created a residency program as a way to ensure that our artists thrive. All of you here tonight recognize art as an important part of your lives and are part of that vision. You want to ensure that the next generation appreciates how art can improve our lives. I've brought my 25-year-old to make sure that he understands it. And I'm sure that each of us can think of a person who showed us the light of the arts and set a great example by introducing us to our first experiences with it. So I ask you to raise a glass to that person now and invite you to call out their names while doing it so that they're here with us tonight to continue this generation. So I'm going to toast Mary Carswell. But the rest of you have your own Marys. Cheers to them. Tonight, I have the great honor to invoke someone who set an example nationally, who influenced literally millions of people, Drew Hines. Drew served on the MacDowell board and was a lover of literature and visual arts. We are very pleased to announce that the Drew and H.J. Hines Trust has made a magnificent gift to MacDowell, $2 million to endow the James Baldwin Library at the Colony. Art is a hopeful act. This magnificent gift is symbolic of all that can be right in the world. And I ask you to toast Drew and Jimmy Baldwin. Now, thank you. This is water. I am really waiting for a bourbon, those of you who know me. And I will have one as soon as we conclude this evening's festivities. But in the meantime, I might even do a cheer. You know, I was in the CYO cheerleader squad. I can do it. But I now want to introduce our next person to talk a little bit about what we've been up to. Our wonderful, magnificent, hardworking president, Andrew Senchek.
So I don't think it was water, first of all. And secondly, I'm a little disturbed by, what table are you at, Todd? You've outbid me on that damn painting. And your wife put you up to it? Okay, my wife is very happy. So, at last year's gala, I concealed my very real anxiety about finding Cheryl's replacement behind a whimsical narration of her 30-year career at MacDowell. My goal was, in part, to bring forth her renowned blush. Where are you, Cheryl? Okay, very good. Well done. Thank you. This past year actually merits another blush. It involves what I believe is the magic of MacDowell. First, we are close to raising the funds to permanently endow 20 fellowships through our Art of Journalism initiative. Secondly, last fall, we went ahead with the dedication of the Baldwin Library without having secured funding for the fellowships in his name. It just seemed like the right thing to do. And then last month, Cheryl shows up with $2 million for the fellowships. I don't get it. I don't get it. We didn't know what we were going to do. And then she shows up with $2 million. Okay. So some of you might say, well, that's just really the Cheryl act. Okay, but one act she never had to perform, one part in her now 31 years, was to prepare the way for her successor. This is a difficult act. To see how bad it can get, I recommend seeing Glenda Jackson in Shakespeare's Case Study. King Lear's transition is a tragedy. Fortunately for the colony, our transition has become a romance. Throughout the transition, Cheryl has played the lead with grace, wit, dignity, and diligence. MacDowell could not have been more fortunate than to have Cheryl for a 31st year. And now I would like to have her, oh, Cheryl, you're not going to come back up. I'd like to, Philip, you'll come up. I would like to introduce you to Philip Himberg, this evening's co-lead and our new executive director. But let me say one more thing. Let me assure you about our search committee, some of whom are here: Lisa, Susan, Christine. Tom Putnam is not here. Vijay is not here. His son is here. Who else was on? Oh, David Baum. Okay. Is that everyone? Anyway, let me assure you that our search committee did not choose Philip to fill Cheryl's shoes, but we chose him because we really liked the way he walked in his own. Philip.
Thank you, Andy, and good evening, everyone. I'm not sure why Andy is talking about shoes and footwear, though friends tonight did advise me to not retread that old adage of finding it impossible to walk in Cheryl's shoes. But I looked at Cheryl's shoes tonight, and they are fabulous. They're balletic and they're black, and I think I could rock them. In any case, let it be known I am proud to walk in them. What is more daunting, though, than promenading in shoes is the depth of Cheryl's insight into the artistic process and her remarkable aesthetic. Over the last few weeks, I have had the great good fortune to sit with Cheryl as she entrusted to me a vast body of knowledge. And I must tell you, whatever footwear adorns Cheryl Young's feet, her gait is graceful and she inspires me. And so I just want to say publicly, thank you, Cheryl, for the boundless generosity that has allowed you to pass this illustrious torch forward. 1 week ago, I left the familiarity of my Sundance Institute family, which was my professional home for 23 years, and I left behind the memory of a distinct Utah landscape. It's a landscape where I led dozens and dozens of artist retreats under the watchful eye of a 12,000-foot peak, mountain peak called Mount Timpanogos. And when I first visited the Peterborough, New Hampshire site of MacDowell Colony, I was guided around by a wondrous man named Blake, who was the guardian of this colony. Yeah, applause for Blake, for sure. And at one moment, Blake parked his truck at a viewpoint, and he pointed out the window, and he proudly said, "Philip, this is our mountain, Mount Monadnock." Now, Mount Monadnock stands at about 3,000 feet, so its impact is different from that of its western sister. It's gentler, it's more humble, perhaps less dramatic, but gazing through the windshield of Blake's truck, this New Hampshire mountain struck me as being wondrously welcoming. I asked Blake, "What does Monadnock mean?" And he told me it derives from the First Nations language, and it means one who stands alone. Perhaps by definition, all mountains stand alone. That is, in fact, what distinguishes a peak of Mountain Peak from the topography around it. And MacDowell stands alone, too, in that it's our country's preeminent haven for working artists and thinkers across all disciplines. But it also occurs to me that it's clear that at MacDowell we are not alone. MacDowell is a family. The MacDowell artists, our alumni, those in attendance right now, and those that are yet to come across our threshold make up the MacDowell family, as do all the MacDowell trustees, the extraordinary MacDowell staff. Together we comprise what I would call a symphonic community. And everyone in this room right now contributes to this fellowship, this union, this home. All of us tonight here in this room are MacDowell family. I mean, just look around. We are abundant, we are gorgeous, and we are hopeful. It is my distinct honor to be invited in, the next individual in a compelling sequence to lead this institution forward. We are all present so that artists may continue to take their rightful place at the table of our democracy, so that artists may, as courageous visionaries always have, lead us forward. I wish to thank all of you for your continuing support of the MacDowell Colony and for bestowing on me this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help make a difference in these very, very precarious times. And Cheryl, Should you wish to pay your MacDowell family a visit, all you need to do is tap those fabulous heels together 3 times and say there's no place like home, and we will be here to embrace you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. And now, won't you welcome to the stage our favorite auctioneer, Charles Anton. Come on, baby. Here we go.
Thank you so much. It is an absolute pleasure to be back here for the second year to support the MacDowell Colony. Before we begin, I would like to start with a toast to all of you and to all of the wonderful folks from MacDowell who put this event together for this evening. Would you guys raise your glass with me? Every single glass in the air. Ready? That's like half. Let's get them all up. And on the count of 3, cheers. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Now just finish what's in that glass, folks. Just drink it up. Catering Chardonnay has funded the MacDowell Colony for many, many years and will continue to do so tonight. Now, I know that you all have one of these, and by this point you should have the paddle with either your name on it or the name of someone who looks richer than you, hopefully. You should have yours. And the way this works tonight is we have nothing to sell. We have no trips to France, no dinners at Le Bernardin. Instead, what we have is a very important ask. And last year, we raised $130,000 for the MacDowell Colony, and hopefully we can beat that number this evening going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top level, and if you would like to make a pledge of that number tonight, raise your paddle high, let me record it, and then we will keep decreasing that number until we found a level where everyone can participate. So what you're going to see now is a guy in a bow tie doing audition on stage, dressed for the Kentucky Derby. Ready? Let's kick it off at our top level, and this is the level at which Michael Chabon, who couldn't be with us here tonight, and Eilert Waldman, his wife, have already committed this level. This is the level that funds a fellowship for one of the artists, a full fellowship, and it's $10,000, and Michael Chabon has already committed 10 to kick us off. Is there anyone up here who will match that donation of $10,000? Paddle 196 brings us to $20,000. That's the way to kick it off, folks. Is that another 361? Are you raising your paddle? No? Just looking for something in your bag? Oh, it goes above the ear. I have to take it next time, so just be careful. We're at $20,000. Anyone else at 10 tonight? All right, then, we're going to move straight away to our next level. Our next level, we again have a commitment from someone who couldn't be there tonight. Adele Griffin and Eric Moff couldn't be here, but they said, give $5,000 and see if anyone can match that number. Is anyone here willing to match $5,000 tonight? Who will say 5,000? Paddle 130 right down front. Thank you, ma'am. 130 at 5,000. 332 at 5,000. 133 at 5,000. 188 at 5,000. Yeah, you can get applause going for that. That's 4 at 5,000. That means our running total is $40,000, all for the MacDowell Colony. Anyone else at 5? Thank you. The terrible towel right here. What is that? Is that 50,000? No. Anyone else at 5? Oh, one more. 149. Thank you, down front. 149 brings us to 45,000. And we will move straight away there to the level that funds a week at MacDowell. How about 2,500? Who will say 2,500 tonight? I know we can get a few. Thank you for kicking us off, sir. Paddle 125 at 2,500. Paddle 217 at 2,500. Get that applause going for these folks. 254 at 2,500. Who else? This side of the room did quite well. Is anyone on this side? That's only 3. Coming in, ma'am. 127 at 2,500. That's an additional $10,000, bringing us to 55,000. Coming in the middle here, how about this side? Anyone else at 2,500? We're at 55,000 then. Any more? At 2,500. Further bids? Well, there we go, 60,000. Go by the screen, not by me, folks. All right, to maintain a studio for 1 month, who will say 1,000? $1,000. This is where, if you bought a table this evening and gave all the seats to like the junior associates at the firm, you should be glaring at them. Don't come into work on Tuesday morning unless you pay for your catering. Who will say $1,000? Hands up at 1,000. Thank you, sir. 241, 208, 279, 272, 186. That's 5. You, sir? No. Thinking about it. Just waving at a charity auction. A little confusing for me, but 223, 265. That, you know, how long were you going to let me say the wrong total with the big number right behind me? 67. Can we get 3 more to bring us up to 70? Anyone else at 1,000 tonight? We're just going to do a couple more levels then. Anyone else at 1,000? Thank you, 268. Thank you, 151. One more? I have nowhere to be. I do not have dinner reservations. We can just hang out, just awkward silence until we get to 70. No? All right, we'll move on. Don't worry. How about $500? Who will say $500 to keep the running total going? Yes, get them all up. Let me read them out. Ready? $500. 115, 258, 353, 381, 270, 347, 136, 135, 141, 333. That's 10 at $500. That's an additional 5,000. It agrees with me. We're at $74,000. Give yourselves a round of applause at 74. Folks, it's going to be a long road to 100 grand, but I think we're going to make it. How about just to fill a picnic basket for a month? How about $250? Who will get their hands up at 250? Ready? Let me. Oh, this is great. Keep them all up. Let me count them out. Ready? 107, 111, 109, 211, 216, 214, 212, 361, 367, 260, 276, 275, 184, 147, 182, 503, 298, and I believe that was 12, I think, and we all know that 250 times 12 is no one. That's why we have the big number up here, guys. Don't worry. $78,250. Anyone else at 250? Are you sure? All right, I'm going to do 2 more then. Ready? How about $100? $100? Who will say $100? This is when we had the most hands up. Bring them all up. Bring them all up. Let me count them. We're going to get this thing to at least 80 grand. Ready? 112. Keep that applause going. 112. 122. 113. 120. 228. 224. 210. 220. 227. 236. That's 1,000. 213. 252. 243, 257, 117, 263, 356, 137, 192, 145, 150, 144, 142, 335, 337, 403, 501, 294, 300, 191, 158. Holy cow, that's a lot. I totally lost count, but we're slowly climbing there up to $81,350. That's you guys. Should we do one more, or should we just be happy with $81,350? Everyone's like, boo, go, I want to go home. No. Anyway, let's do one more just to see if we get to 85. If we get everyone's hand ready, how about $50? Who will say $50? Get them all up at 50. We had so many at 50 last year. That's the only reason I'm doing it, because we had so many at $50. Let's read them out. Ready? 226, 222, 121, 116, 190, 386. Rich people, clap for the $50 bids. Come on. 385. 388, 199, 275, 139, 149, and 401, and 278. Any more? What if I throw in a live performance by an unmasked Blue Man group? Will that add it? No? All right. I'll leave you with this, folks. You guys raised $82,050. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. In about 5 minutes. And if you want to donate any amount, if you didn't raise your hand because you're shy or you want to remain anonymous or you simply had too much catering Chardonnay to get your elbow above your ear at this point in the evening, you'll notice the back of your paddle is actually a bid form. You can write in your total, give it to one of the volunteers standing around the room, one of the folks from iBid, they're all around the room, or you can do it at checkout. They're all sitting out in the front desk. You guys raised 80 grand in just about 15 minutes, so give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for having me, folks. I'm going to hand the mic back over and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
Thank you, Charles. Charles Anton, everybody. And to all of you who made a donation, on behalf of all the fellows, I sincerely want to thank you. We cannot wait to share with you what we make. Now, it is our pleasure to introduce our final fellow of the evening. The Huffington Post calls her electrifying. The New York Times calls her phenomenal. When she was in residence at the MacDowell, she spent time developing her new musical, In the Green. In the Green is the story of one of medieval history's most powerful and creative women, Hildegard von Bingen. Once a little girl locked in a cell with her mentor Jutta, Hildegard survives to become a healer, a composer, an exorcist, and finally a saint. How's that for a multi-hyphenate? And now we are thrilled to give you an exclusive preview of In the Green, which will be premiering next month at Lincoln Center Theater's LCT3, along with Rachel Duddy, Ashley Perez-Flanagan, Hiroyuki Matsura, Ada Westfall, and Hannah Whitney. Please join me in welcoming Grace McLean. Yes.
Oh, viridissima Virga, viridissima Virga, viridissima calor solis in te sudavit, sicut odor balsami, et illa padurunt omnia in viriditate.
I was scratching my eyes for lusting to look at the sky. Thought everything I saw wasn't real, was a flaw. I was clawing at the dirt, feeling my blood mixed with the earth. Thought I could hold my breath, make myself less.
I saw myself when you saw my light, and with your help I can get up. I'm gonna be alright. Up, 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 up and up, up, up. We go up, 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 up and up, up, up. Come on, up, 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 up and up, 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 and I cannot keep me down.
If a beast lives in a cage, she'll snarl, she'll rage. Don't get too close, she'll bite. She only wants to fight. Let the beast out of the cage. She'll be a mage. The beast inside me, she wants to guide me. The monster in you, she is you.
I saw myself inside. up, up and up, up, up. Come on, up, 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 up and up, 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 and I cannot keep me down. I am the light. Whoa, oh, I am a blazing sun. I am illumination. I am the light. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I am going to be alright. I saw myself inside of your light, and with your help I am gonna be alright.
Grace McLean. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for everything. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.